world and how the control system really works and how deep the rabbit hole goes. Establishment science, education, media, that's what it does. I mean, have you seen these politicians in Britain now? You've got Clegg in the Liberal Party, Liberal Democrats. You've got Cameron in the Conservatives. You're going to probably have one of the Miliband's, maybe David Miliband, leader of the other major party, and they're all standing on the same sodding postage stamp, all three of them. Same background, same basic perception of the world and politics, and that's exactly the same with science, education and media. They all stand on this same postage stamp, and anyone wants to step off it and explore in other areas, stop him! Stop him! Ridicule, condemnation, stop his funding. And people say, well, if what you're saying is true, science would tell us. Yeah, okay. Like the media would tell us, right? Yeah, okay. What the control system doesn't want us to know is that this reality, in terms of its physicality, the one we think we're experiencing now, is an illusion. There is no physicality. There is no out there. Everything I'm looking at now out there is going on in here. I'll come to how that works. It is so simple. As the great American comedian Bill Hicks said, great man. All matter is merely energy condensed to a slow vibration. We're all one consciousness experiencing itself subjectively. There's no such thing as death. Life is only a dream, and we are the imagination of ourselves. And that's the control system's bottom line, manipulating our imagination of self. You can trick the brain into seeing things that aren't there. These are pictures of paintings, etc., on the flat surface, the flat road, the flat pavement. And yet you can trick the brain into reading them as three-dimensional. That's on a flat pavement. So's that. Is that a woman's face, or is it a flower and a butterfly? Very easy to trick the brain to decode reality in a certain way. For instance, is this a man and a hand, or is it a Mexican, a woman, a bush, and a dog? Depends how you decode it. And the control system, en masse, is manipulating 24/7 the way that we decode reality, so we decode it in line with what suits the control system. As Einstein said, reality is an illusion, albeit a persistent one. And the reason it's persistent is because we live in a virtual reality universe. A fantastically expanded, advanced version of a gigantic computer game. And the analogies go one after the other. Today, it's much easier to talk about reality because technology is starting to mirror the very reality that we're experiencing. It's getting closer and closer to real, and the projection is that not too long from now, they will have computer games which you could hardly tell the difference between that and this. We're having training simulations and flying simulations. They're in some hospitals using virtual reality images to show patients when their burns are being treated, and they show them pictures, very cold images, and the brain decodes that and cools the skin down. And when you look at these advanced virtual reality technologies, what are they doing? They're just hijacking the way the five senses work anyway. They're using the eyes, they're using through these gloves, the sense of touch and all the rest of it, and they are feeding information, digital information, to the brain and tricking it to believe that something's going on which is not. And that's how the control system works. And we have what I call the body computer, the biological body computer. Biological, by that I mean it has the ability not just to react to data, but to assess that data and make decisions on it, which is what the immune system is doing all now as we speak. I'm not standing here, you're not sitting there saying, okay, problem with the right leg, go down there a bit on the left. No, it's just doing it because it's thinking. It's a biological computer system. By the way, this image here was taken the split second that someone told this guy that Barack Obama had won the Nobel Peace Prize. That's how I reacted anyway. And the base foundation of this virtual reality is actually waveform, vibrating energy. And within waveforms, as scientists will tell you, fantastic amounts of information can be stored. And that's what the base information construct of this reality is. It's information in wave form. And what I'm going to call that through the day is the metaphysical universe. When I talk about the metaphysical universe, I mean the waveform level of this universe before it becomes this. What happens is the waveform information construct is decoded through the body computer into the world that we think we are experiencing. It's all going on in here. And it's like, as I'll come to in a second, it's almost a mirror, though much more advanced, of the wireless internet, where you can get a computer and you can pull the wireless internet, the World Wide Web, a whole collective reality out of the unseen to appear on a screen anywhere in the world. And so as we decode vibrational information through to electrical information, which is sent to the brain, and the brain decodes that into the world that we think we are experiencing. This is the metaphysical universe. Through the body computer, it becomes the world that we experience as outside of us. The five senses, which of course, as I say, virtual reality computer games lock into, that's how they work, they change vibrational information into electrical information, which goes to the brain to be decoded into what is holographic information. I'll come to that. So this is absolutely right, this scene from The Matrix, where the Neo character says, this isn't real, and Morpheus says, what is real? How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, taste, and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain. That's all it is. And imagine if you can manipulate the way the brain interprets reality, because you know how reality works and the population doesn't, because you bloody well keep it from them systematically. The five senses are a decoding system. The most obvious one, of course, is sound. That's a vibration, comes to the ear, message to the brain, brain hears the sound. There is no sound until we've decoded it as so. Sound is just a vibration until we've decoded it. Sound exists in here. Same with taste. Electrical signals to the brain decodes it. This is how you can, through stage hypnotists, etc., get someone to eat a potato but taste an apple. Because you implant the belief here that it's an apple, and so the electrical signal with the potato code goes there, and it doesn't read it like that, it reads it as an apple. Even on that basic level, think of the potential for manipulating the way we see reality individually and collectively. And different parts of the brain, like with smell, are specifically there in the body computer to decode those senses. Same with touch. Exactly the same. Even movement. There is no movement until we've decoded that movement. There are conditions of the brain, which some people have, where they don't decode movement. So often they don't even see it. They'll see a car in the distance, the next thing, whoa, it's gone. Nothing in the middle. They see someone pouring a cup of tea, and all they see is a static arc of tea. It's all an illusion. It's a computer game. A very, very sophisticated one. I love that. Crikey, talk about having a laugh. Hey, Ethel, come and see who's in the telly. Don't you mean on the telly? No. Stage hypnotists are playing with this system all the time, like I say. And there are some other hypnotists I made earlier. These don't know they're hypnotists, most of them anyway. But that's what they're doing. They are, all the time, giving us a sense of reality, a belief in what is real. And if the brain takes on that belief system, it then starts reading reality in line with that belief, and it becomes a self-fulfilling self-fulfilling reality. So we live in the equivalent, as I'll keep saying, a very, very advanced equivalent of the holographic internet, the World Wide Web. If you say to people, tell me about the internet, they say, yeah, well, it's graphics and websites and words and colors and the pictures. Yes, it is. But the only place that exists in that form, the internet, is on the screen. Everywhere else, it's electrical circuits, etc., etc. You say, tell me about television. They'll say, well, it's moving pictures on a screen. Yes, it is. But the only place that television exists in that form is on the screen. Everywhere else, it's electrical circuits and, in some cases still, many cases still, broadcast frequencies. And we live in what I call the cosmic internet, where information in the energy around us, I'll come to where it comes from in a minute, is then pulled out of the unseen. Just as these guys sitting out in the open, no wires, no connections, they are pulling the unseen out onto the computer screen. And if you think of it, because people say, well, if you're creating your own reality in your head and all that stuff, why do we all see the same stage? Why do we all see the same car? Well, when you log on the internet in South Africa or Australia or London or America or anywhere, apart from places like China, you log on to the very same collective reality as everywhere else, everywhere in the world. You might choose to go to this website, and if you go to this website, the guy in South Africa could go to the same website that you're on and see the same thing, because it's a collective reality. What happens is that we then decide, do we like this website? What do we think of it? Do I want to go there or do I want to go there? That's how we put our individual spin on it. It's the same when you look out the window and you see the same car going past. But I might like the car, someone else might not like the car. But it's the same collective reality. And the body computer is pulling this reality out of the unseen, just like those laptops. And so you've got in the Matrix movie that scene where he says, the Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us, even now in this very room. You can see it when you look out of your window or you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. What truth? That you are a slave, Neo. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch, a prison for your mind. I'll get into the nature of that prison in the second section. So what is this universe? It's information. And it's information decoding information. Just as you put a computer disk in a computer, it's information. The information encoded in the computer then reads the information on the disk. That's what we're doing. And that way, we manifest this apparently out there reality. We too, the so-called human body, is energetic, non-physical in its base form. But when it comes through the decoding system, it becomes the world that we think we're experiencing outside of us. It seems to be outside of us. I'll grant you, my God, I look out here, it looks to be outside of me. But it's inside of us. We are creating it through the decoding system in our heads. Now, I'll go into this area in the new book. What I'm saying is that, well, I'm not saying this, scientists are now saying this. At the center of this galaxy is a massive black hole, and the increasing thinking is, and I would say it fits perfectly, is that there is a giant black hole at the center of every galaxy. What I'm saying is these black holes resonate the base information or the base vibrational frequency of this virtual reality universe. And they interact with what we call the suns. In this case, our sun in this solar system, but of course there's suns all over the place. I'm saying that this vibration triggers from the suns, depending on its vibrational state, because it changes, and that answers a lot of things, as I'll come to shortly. It triggers information of certain kinds being transmitted by the sun, suns in general, in the form of photons. Photons are the base unit of what we call light and other forms of electromagnetic radiation. They carry information. These photons being generated out of the suns, triggered by this vibrational base frequency